Everyone, welcome to EM Interview. I'm very honored to have McGrath St. George, the principal of St. George, obviously the real estate license agency in Brighton descending here. My name is Wing. I'll be the host of EM Interview today. Thank you, Matthew, for joining us. Very honored to have you, to have this, to be featured in this interview. So I've got a couple of questions. Oh, sis, yeah. Yes, as you know, that EM Interview is actually targeting Chinese audiences.
Sure.
We are facing 24K audiences just on our platform, particularly on our WeChat official account. So we wanted to speak to a lot of key opinion leaders, especially in the Australian industry, you know, how they are influencing the whole, obviously with different industry, especially real estate, migrations, and obviously agriculture, and obviously with a lot of different industries. So I know McGrath has been in Australia for a very, very long time, have a decent portfolio, and obviously we wanted to have, you know, an opinion from the principal of McGrath to tell us, you know, what is the significance of McGrath, how that has been growing, and where the future planning will be. So the first question is really the fundamental question of, you know, what are the core services McGrath is providing and how can it serve the Australian market?
Yeah, absolutely. So the core services that we provide are residential sales predominantly. We do project marketing as well. We've got an auction services company. We've actually got an education company as well that educates people within the industry. And we've also got our own home loans, Oxygen Home Loans, that takes care of our... so they're kind of the predominant 5 or 6 things that we do, but fundamentally we focus on residential sales and project sales.
And project sales as well.
Yes.
Okay, and I believe you guys do listing as well for listing management.
Property management,
yes,
of course we do.
Right.
Exactly. So that's the other thing. There is that's the 5 or 6. So yeah, we do property management, manage for a lot of investors. In fact, a lot of Chinese investors that are quite often offshore that want to have Australian properties here that we look after. So yeah, we've obviously got Chinese speaking people in the property management team. So yeah,
that's definitely the answer that I'm looking for.
Yeah, of course.
You know, obviously you know, the rise of Chinese investors, as you mentioned there, just then, and with the Chinese purchaser, we do know that the funding has been very, very strict coming from China, obviously with the migration policies, with the investments policy, and so on and so on. So and that actually leads to the second question is, there is a significant increase in the project development company interested in Chinese consumers. What do you think about the current and future trends in this particular era?
I think that definitely there's been a slowdown, firstly, but that also that the Chinese buyers are becoming a lot more discerning. And the obvious things that they've always been an influence, transport, amenities, you know, proximity to the CBD have been important, but the quality of the building and the quality of the lifestyle surrounding the building, i.e., you know, developers that are looking to create a better lifestyle for those people are definitely more attractive to particularly the Chinese buyers and across the board. I mean, every buyer is now looking for a quality building, you know, and I guess allowing for spaces and parking. So we've got a developer, as an example, on the Central Coast that made a decision to put all of the car parking underneath so that everything on top is purely, you can't see a car when you're living there. So basically it's just parkland, it feels a lot different. And so naturally that's something that is going to be of advantage to a lot of buyers, and Chinese are sort of looking for that type of thing, but closer to the CBD.
So definitely the quality of lifestyle, quality of the living environment. You do mention the Central Park project that you guys are doing. I think it's a great idea, you know, obviously having an underneath car park to increase, you know, just a residential or maybe just a commercial retail on top of it. So it's very different with, you know, obviously with a lot of Sydney property here. So and that actually leads to the question, because you mentioned about having a quality project and into, you know, a different suburb, especially with the development suburb. So what do McGrath do to separate themselves to becoming industrial leaders, especially in the real estate industry? Yeah,
I think one of the great things that McGrath has is that we only started, so we've got a 30-year history. A lot of the other you know, real estate brands started over 100 years ago. What that 30-year history allowed us to do was recognise, and it's particularly appropriate with the Chinese buyers, is that the people are not necessarily, as they once were, stuck to an area. So if you lived in St Leonard's, you know, or if you lived on the Lower North Shore, you may never leave the Lower North Shore. Now buyers are more flexible, they will move around, and what they're looking for is lifestyle and value. And so as a McGrath, as a company now, we have a centralised database, which means that if I meet you in St Leonards, but you decide that you actually wouldn't mind living down in Hurstville, that we're actually able to connect with our people in St Leonards and say, okay, they go on a database and they get notified. So we very much as a company talk to each other. We've got 936 salespeople. We've got 32,000 properties under management, which allows us to do property management really well. So that's spread across the whole network. We've got a magazine that comes out monthly. It's read by 45,000 people, and monthly it comes out in it's a weekly magazine, but monthly it's in Chinese. So it's perfect for the Asian buyers. It goes to banks like HSBC, a number of other Chinese organisations, as well as our open houses. So they're kind of the things that having 936 salespeople that are all tapped into the one database allows us to be able to share information and better bring buyers down. So we had a property in Oakley with a Chinese buyer was interested in buying, and at the same time they had a contract with one of my colleagues up in St Leonards, and they were looking at the both and they were sort of deciding which was the better value, and they actually ended up bidding on both. They wound up buying in Oakley, which is obviously nice and near Hurstville. So that's the kind of thing where buyers are like, I'm not actually tied to an area. I just want to buy a nice house for good value and have a good lifestyle for my family.
Well, that's very nice, because obviously you talked about the network of your central system where you're able to capture that many data for the customers. You know, that's definitely increasing the customer value in terms of when they're coming into searching property. Because I'm obviously an investor myself as well. Sometimes I get very, very frustrated to look for that particular property that I really wanted, or maybe looking for that that particular positive yielding just for that investment property. So I believe McGrath here, you obviously having that extensive network, having that volume of salespeople across in Australia, that actually definitely help not only the Chinese consumer, but of course the Australian consumers here. So lastly, the last question I'm very, very interested to ask is, what is your role in assisting particular project management, development companies and homeowners to add value to their properties during the selling and marketing process?
So whenever we're selling or marketing, whether it be a one-off residential home, somebody's actual home, or whether it be a project, it's always a matter of getting four things right. It's the price of you've got to make sure that it meets the market's requirements from price. The presentation, so obviously whether it's a house, somebody's house, or whether it's a project, we want to make sure that it's very well presented. The marketing, obviously we've got lots of different mechanisms for marketing. We're finding, particularly in the Chinese market, the network of people that exist, the community exists, it's quite different to other cultures. So we like to infuse what we call web books through so that people can actually share information with each other.
That's right.
And so that's an important aspect. And then and obviously other regular marketing campaigns like the internet and that sort of thing. And then the last thing, of course, is the agent. And we like to think that we are the preeminent agents in terms of negotiating and understanding the sales process and how to get buyers to a point and vendors to a point where we can actually have a sale. So price, presentation, marketing and the agent are the four key criteria. And then the other part of it is, I guess, is that we want to make it easier for buyers to buy. So how do we make it easier for them to buy? We want them to be able to get good information quickly and easily. Everybody needs information at the snap of their fingers. And we're much more likely to want to make a decision if we can get quick information. So if it's easy and it's accessible, it's in we have currency converters, we have language converters. So if you go onto mcgrath.com.au, you can change the language, you can change the currency to make it easier. So all of that information helps people make the better decisions. And once we're comfortable, we obviously, we know that buyers will buy once they're actually satisfied.
Okay. I think we do finish all the questions for today, but if you guys do happen to have any more questions for Matthew, obviously, go on their website and contact Matthew directly, maybe through mcgrath.com.au. And that's it for the EM interview for today. We'll just wait for the next upcoming episode.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.